a citizen blocked the car of this female that was committing these burglaries. And then a deputy responded immediately. Detective Huey and others did all the follow-up. There's all kinds of follow-up and connecting all of these crimes together to maximize the punishment when we go to prosecute these criminals. And we implicated one of the co-conspirators, was her husband. They went to one of their garages, which was chock full with all the property. Not just property, because when you take people's property, they take something of yours that's your family's. There's a sentimental value. We get that. He went to work and did a stand-up job, and these people were taken into custodies and given silver bracelets, not the kind of jewelry you like to wear. So I wanted to present this, Detective Huey. It is our honor to recognize your exemplary work and exceptional investigative skills resulting in successfully solving a string of Saddlebrook burglaries affecting the community. Your dedication and professionalism to serve the public is highly commendable. In May, our team concluded a 3-month-long investigation into a rash of burglaries that were being reported in the Saddlebrook community of Pinell County. The suspects were targeting residences that were fully furnished and put up for sale or listed for rent by the owners. Through a joint effort between deputies, detectives, and the community, thousands and thousands of dollars in property and personal belongings with deep sentimental value were returned to the rightful owners. There's a couple other things we say, but I'll get right to the point. It's signed by myself and Chief Deputy Henry, and a copy of this goes in his personnel file. So, congratulations. That's the way to get an award, right? Have you ever had a standing ovation before? No, I haven't. You just made his career. Thank you. That's great. Yes. Now, for him, to motivate him even further, he is a detective that's working this case. And to tie all of this information and the information you have given us, we take it very, very seriously. And he's going to share some of that, and we've got a couple persons of interest. We're not calling them suspects at this time because we're not going to go out and just put handcuffs on them. They're persons of interest. We want to share their photograph and to give you some more details about this. Very simply, without getting into hardening your home, that Jack's going to give an entire briefing and some other information, a couple tips just from a patrol officer standpoint. You need to protect your property. Don't make things readily available to a criminal. Most of the times they're crimes of opportunity. If you leave your car in the driveway and there's a wallet or a cell phone or a whole case of CDs that you're playing music or whatever else, or something of value that I can quickly, if I look in your car, is there, guess what's going to happen to your car? Smash and grab. How long did that take? No deputy in the world, unless they were right there and happened to see it, is ever going to help you. And this is where the empowerment and what Bill said exactly gets pushed right back to you. And you've got to take back Eagle Crest and help us solve these crimes. And the Detective Huey and others will help do that. So that's absolutely important. Crimes of opportunity. If you have your garage door opener in your car, don't keep it in your car when you park it in the garage until we figure out what the heck's going on here and we take people into custody. And still always use those precautions. Because when you leave things out like that, a lot of folks, several of these, people left their cars unlocked. Okay? You only have to do that once, and it could be the very first time that you felt violated. That's when it's going to happen to you. Lock your car, lock your doors. We were at a block watch last night with about half the size of this crowd, and up in Johnson Ranch, up in the northern part of Pinell County, up in the newest community, Santan Valley, also unincorporated. 80,000 people live there. Okay? And people are going in people's backyards because they didn't have a lock, a simple lock on their door. Okay? Doing things like that. Using some of the lights with sensors. Motion detectors. There's all kinds of gadgets out on the market. Just some helpful tips. They're going to get more in depth with you on that. couple things real quick. You've given me a half an hour. I'm only going to take another 5 minutes. I want to share with you some of the things we're doing in your sheriff's office of how we're improving operations. In the past, we haven't always had a high presence in certain areas in the county. And lots of people, and this is where I talked to literally tens and tens of thousands of people this past year, and actually got to meet them, look them in their eye, and hear their concerns. And I've heard that thousands and thousands of times. One thing we've tried to do immediately is realign our limited resources. We went, and I'm going to talk about dispatch, I'm going to talk about patrol, I'm going to talk about training, I'm going to talk about equipment and technology. Jack mentioned the radios, simple radios, construction grade, $400 radios. We have got, as of tonight, we've got a number of grants that were just awarded this year. We never had a grant administrator. We hired a grant administrator, and just this week, just for radios, we've been awarded 3 separate grants totaling $500,000. So to purchase these radios, and they're not $3,500, they're at least $5,000. They're a dual band that can do analog and also when we transition to 700 megahertz, so that affords us the interoperability. So the same problem September 11th, fire, EMS, law enforcement, so we can talk together and do all that kind of stuff. Well, guess what? Most agencies still can't. So some of these things that should have been fixed a long time ago, we're getting to. And this money affords us that opportunity. What it also does is officer safety. If a deputy is out there lifting that, and sarcastically they refer to it as the Statue of Liberty pose. Have you ever seen that done? Holding up, you've done it. Holding the radio up in the air for better reception, and then with their other hand clicking on the push button to talk. And where's my gun? That's down here. So if I'm in an emergency situation, if I have to draw my weapon, or say you have to fight somebody, or I'm in your house and somebody needs medical attention and that $400 radio can't get out, I have to run back to my car to get that information. Simple things like that we're addressing. That will purchase at least 80 new radios. There's 183 that are in patrol. So we've got to get every one of those fixed. Computers and cars. When we started, there were 29 MDTs, mobile data terminals, computers in cars. And it's not we want computers because we want to be tech savvy. It's because you can write reports in your patrol vehicle, which is your mobile office, that you can also, through dispatch, you get the whole call history. This family lives at this address. This is the call history. These are all the details. Because I'm telling you, I've ridden now probably about 8 or 9 times. I will do it more with deputies. I'm sitting next to a deputy here. And as the deputy is driving the car, she or he is getting a call from dispatch, and guess what they have to do? They have to write down all this information. And with a computer and touchscreen also going to mapping, now you have to flip through hard maps, or you have one of the GPS systems in your car. Some of them haven't bought that on their own. So sitting with deputies and dispatch is giving directions to the deputy. Take a left at this street, take a right on this street, and then 5 houses down. That's not the way to do business. And if it's your call and your family that needs help, that's a problem. Okay? Because not only all that time to write down the information if they didn't get it right. And I was with a deputy. They're human as well, and they're jacked up. They get this call. There's a fight at this house. Their adrenaline spiking, and they're trying to get there as fast as they can, and they may have written down the wrong address. And then at the same time, they're giving a phone number to the person's name, all this information. It's like that's part of the value for the computer. Okay? That's going to quicken emergency response times. Right now, that time is unacceptable at 13.6 minutes for a priority 1. That means drop everything. We've got to get to your house because somebody is picking a lock next door. Somebody